I can eat the entire apple pie and have 700 or 800 calories left on my day. What's going on, everybody? My name is Ethan. Thanks for clicking on the video today. As a 19-year-old American, today is an exciting day. It is the first time in my life I exercised my right to vote. For people who are my age who haven't voted before, obviously you're gonna see this after election day, so you get it. But if you're gonna vote for somebody, make sure you know about that person before you actually go out of your way to vote. Don't vote for somebody because your parents told you to. Don't vote for somebody because your favorite celebrity told you to. Do a little bit of research. Understand it, cast your vote. You have the right, you can make that change. Don't vote for somebody just because J. Cole told you to. Vote for somebody who you feel is best for the country. Now that we got that tangent out of the way, we're gonna talk about what you clicked on the video for. We are making anabolic apple pie, a freaking huge pie that you can either eat in one sitting because the calories work for you, or, well, I don't suggest you do it, but don't eat it all in one sitting. Or you can just eat it in like 4 separate pieces or 8 separate pieces, whatever you feel, man. There's variety on this channel. Guys, I'm gonna be honest. It's a bit of a process. It's gonna take you a minute. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Don't get me wrong. It's just not gonna be like 5 ingredients that you microwave for 2 minutes, which is why I'm making this recipe now, because it gives you a month of notice before Thanksgiving and 2 months of notice before Christmas. This is a holiday recipe. Obviously, you can eat it year-round, and I suggest you do. This is amazing. Just in time for the holidays, you got a recipe like this. There's a lot of pumpkin pie, there's a lot of pumpkin spice. No one's got apple pie. I'm bringing you guys apple pie. Come on, man. I want to dive right into this because this is going to take a lot of editing. I already know it's going to take so long to edit. But before we dive into anything, guys, 2 videos ago, I announced that I had a goal, that I wanted to hit 500 subscribers before I turned 20 on December 3rd. Since I posted that video, just 2 videos ago, in about a week and a half, accumulated over 100 subscribers. That's amazing. That's amazing that you guys are showing that level of support and that you like the recipes the way you do and want to engage the way you do. I'm having so much fun. I'm watching more and more people enjoying my videos, and it just means the world. So thank you guys, really, from the bottom of my heart, because it's great knowing that I'm working really hard on stuff and people really appreciate it. People really like watching these videos. I am done talking. We are gonna dive into this beast. Guys, as always, before we get started, drop a like down below, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, ring the bell to be notified when I drop more stuff like this, and leave a comment if you have a suggestion for a video in the future. I'm almost out of breath. I gotta work on condensing that, making it a little shorter. Anyways, guys, I am done rambling. Let's go over everything you're gonna need to make this recipe happen today. First off, you're going to need vanilla whey protein. Obviously, you can use whatever flavor you want. Vanilla works the best. Low-fat, honey-made graham crackers, Walden Farms syrup, regular all-purpose flour, Truvia brown sugar. I know it's sugar, I like to avoid it, but we're using a very scarce amount and it's important that you have it. Baking soda, egg whites. Now, I like to buy them whole and separate them because it saves a couple bucks. But for everyone at home who's using a carton of egg whites that you just pour over, I will give you the gram measurement for the amount you need. The lowest calorie bread you can get your hands on, I'm going with 647 as always, 40 calories a slice. Guar gum, coconut flour, artificial sweetener of your choice. I'm out of stevia, so I'm using this Great Value. It's just called sweetener. It's a little concerning. But, you know, all the same stuff. And lastly, you're gonna need 6 apples. In order to cook the recipe properly, you're gonna need a big pot. You're gonna need a little pie crust. Not a pie crust, a pie tin. You're gonna need the pie tin. Food scale, Ninja blender, as always. I know what you're gonna say, it's a little intimidating. It's a lot of stuff you gotta have. This isn't meant to be your breakfast French toast. This is meant to be more of a special occasion anabolic meal. It's something that I'm probably gonna make a lot because I do spend an hour or 2 a day in the kitchen at least. That's kind of why I make these cooking videos. I just love doing it. So if you got everything you need, you got your pot, your cooking weapons of Yeah, this recipe is going to be broken up into 3 steps. We are going to be making the crust, we are going to be making the filling, and then the crust that goes on top. Guys, I'm going to put timestamps down below so you guys can keep track of where each step is in the video. But I do suggest you watch the entire thing, because if you don't get this right, you're not going to get a good pie. And then people are going to be like, oh, your recipe sucks. No, my recipe is phenomenal. You just got to make it right. There is no reason for me to continue talking. Let's dive into step number 1. First thing you guys want to do is grab a food scale, put a bowl right on top, hit 0. Grab yourself an entire package of your graham crackers and pour it right in the bowl. It's going to give you about 135 grams. Next thing you want to do is ground all these up into a fine powder, or at least as fine as possible. I'm going to be using this little hammer or something. Okay, my arm's falling asleep, so that's as good as it gets. Now you want to throw in 1 scoop or 40 grams of a whey protein. Next up, you want 2 grams of cinnamon, 2 grams of artificial sweetener. Lastly, you want 90 grams of your Walden Farm syrup. Push your scale aside, grab yourself something to mix with. I'm going to use a spoon and just stir everything up. Now, if my memory serves me right, I got this from Remington James, so if I'm correct, credits go to Remington James. He gave me the idea or the inspiration to make a crust the way I am right now. Maybe it wasn't Remington, maybe it was somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it was him. So, shout out to whoever did this. My memory sucks. You should wind up with this clumpy substance that looks a little bit like oatmeal. That's gonna be our pie crust. Grab yourself a pie tin. Hit it with some non-stick and just pour everything right inside the tin. Just like that. Try to space it out a little bit. Try to spread it around the tin. This stuff's a little sticky, so it's gonna be a bit of a challenge trying to manipulate it, but if you work it long enough, you'll have some success. Now, once you get to about here, you're gonna notice it starts to stick pretty bad. It's a bit of a strategy you can do to combat that. Rip yourself a giant piece of tin foil and just spray right over the top of it. Flip it over and just start pressing it around the perimeter of the tin. Just work all of it very gently, but make sure it's even. That looks pretty good right there. It doesn't need to be perfect. Grab yourself a fork and very gently and slowly, because it tends to stick a little bit, peel back all the aluminum foil. You see right here, it sticks a little bit. Grab your fork and just pull some of it back. You're probably gonna have to go around the edge and do it, but once you do that, it'll peel off very nicely. Once you get it started, it should just be like clockwork, man. Oh, little stick right there. Boom, just like that, we have a very flexible pie tin. Next thing you guys wanna do is take your pie crust and put it in the oven for about 6 minutes. It's not gonna cook it really hard. You want it to be a little softer because it's gonna go back in the oven later. Oven at 350, 6 minutes, going in. Took us about 6 minutes. Now we're gonna pull our crust out. Oh, yep. Now, like I said, it's gonna be a little squishy. It's gonna be a little bendy. It's gonna be undercooked. That's because it's going in again at a later time. Just set it aside for now. Next up, you wanna grab a cutting board and a big pot. Set your pot aside, grab 6 apples. Now you wanna take 6 apples, cut them all up, and throw them right in the pot. Yeah, try not to get any seeds in there. Out you go. Come on, there we go. That's it for your cutting board. Set your apples on the stove. Add half a cup of water. Now throw a top on, let them cook. Grab your food scale again, throw a bowl on top. Add 1 scoop or 40 grams of your whey protein, 5 grams of cinnamon, 8 grams of Truvia brown sugar. Now you want to add 25 grams of an artificial sweetener. Grab everything, take it over to the stove. Take the lid off of your apples, grab your mix and pour it right in. Now you just want to stir everything until the apples have a consistency that's very soft, very squishy. But then again, this part is personal preference. If you want them to be a little more solid, cook them for less time. Once everything is mixed thoroughly, throw your top back on, put the oven on low. Let it sit for a couple minutes. Now your apples have been sitting for a little while, and if you look inside, they're gonna be caramelized, they're gonna be squishy, they're still gonna be pretty hot. So now what you wanna do is take all your apples and put them all inside of your tin. Let's try to get a better angle here. That's nice. Take all your apples, put them in the pie. Now guys, if you like where this is going so far, drop a like down below. I'm working real hard here. Now we finished the crust and we finished the apples. They're both sitting over there. You can set them aside, you can leave them out because this will only take us about 5 minutes. For those of you that have seen my brulee puffs and my cinnamon puffs, you know how to make that initial puff base. We're gonna be remaking that for this recipe. We're just gonna be making a smaller serving. So first thing you guys wanna do is grab 4 slices of bread, throw them right in the blender. Now, if you haven't seen those videos, this might look a little weird to you. Trust me, it's for the best. Next up, you wanna throw in 3 egg whites. Told you, man, it'd be a little bit of a process, but well worth it. You guys have no idea how good this tastes. You should wind up with about 88 grams of egg whites. If you're off by a couple, it's not a big deal. Next up, you wanna put in 1 scoop or 40 grams of whey protein once again. Now you just want to add 2 grams of guar gum. If you have xanthan gum, it works just as well. 2 grams of cinnamon, 2 grams of baking soda, 10 grams of all-purpose flour. Now you want 10 grams of coconut flour. Another 5 grams of a 0-calorie sweetener. That's everything you guys are gonna need. Now you just gotta blend it up. Take your mixture, throw it on the blender. You're gonna want a spatula handy. Now just blend it up. You're gonna wanna have a spatula because like every other time you blend stuff up, it's gonna stick to the side. You wanna make sure you scrape everything down so everything is thoroughly mixed. Everything about this recipe is just delicious. When I review people's recipes, I don't try anything until it's done, it's ready, and it's all assembled. But when I make my own recipes, I've already tried it 100 times because I made that pie at least 5 or 6 times before getting it right. I had to take a lot out, put a lot in. It's all delicious. Pull your blades out. If there's any dough stuck on there, just scrape it off because we don't want to waste anything. You're only going to wind up with about that much. That's all you're going to need. This will be the last step before we put this pie in the oven, so make sure your oven is still at 350 degrees. Grab that dough that we just mixed up and just plop it right on top of the pie. Now you want to take 2 forks and just spread it amongst the top. This is going to be our crust. We have to spread it with the forks because the dough itself doesn't have a lot of body because we couldn't add a lot of flour. If we added a lot of flour, there would be a lot more calories in this, and we're trying to stay as anabolic as possible. But just so you rest assured, this recipe is a 5 million out of 10. Certified. Now, right before we put it in the oven, I like to throw a little bit of cinnamon right on top. If you're feeling frisky, throw some sweetener on top too, just for aesthetic. It's your time. Six minutes later, she's done. Oh, it's hard to do with one hand. One entire apple pie. Anabolic goodness everywhere you look. Holding this thing with one hand might be the riskiest thing I've ever done. I'm setting it down right now. One singular piece of this entire apple pie. I have all the calories and macros on my phone. I'll read them out to you per serving and for the entire thing. I didn't measure this piece out. This is just a random cut. I don't know the exact count for this piece because I didn't cut an exact quarter or an exact eighth. But guys, there is an entire pie sitting in front of me. You guys saw it. You know how it looks. You know how it is. You don't know how it tastes yet. So, can you get a little bit of crust in there? A lot of apple. That is just everything right there. This video is a little more difficult to make than all the other ones, so please, if you haven't already, drop a like down below and maybe subscribe to the channel. Share the video, show a little bit of support. I am done rambling. It's time to try the pie. Cheers. Okay, for those of you that don't know, I am Greek and I'm Ukrainian. My mom's side is Yuki. And the grandparents on that side, my grandma, she can make pie, dude. I grew up on my grandma's apple pie. We'd have it during all the holidays. We'd always have one wrapped up. There was a point in time where my brother and I wanted to get her recipe and start a little apple pie business out of our kitchen. I am not saying this because I'm trying to hype my recipe up. This is one of the best pieces of pie I've had in a long time. I can't really, I'm trying to articulate words to explain to you what, like the sensation of it, how it tastes. Everything here, everything cooked perfect. The crust isn't super hard and crispy, but it's not undercooked either. The apples cooked to the point where they're not gooey and mixing up and falling apart. They stay intact, but they're super soft and they absorbed all the sweetness, all the cinnamon. It's super warm, it's not very hot because obviously I had to take thumbnail pictures and whatnot. I grew up on apple pie. I grew up on pie, okay? I wouldn't be making this recipe. I wouldn't be making this video. I wouldn't have bought all those groceries, baked it, failed, tried this, add this, substitute this. I wouldn't have gone through that process if I didn't want to get this right. I feel like I always say, oh, this is my best recipe yet. No, this is my best recipe. I don't know how to like express it to you guys. I don't even care about the Thug Jug right now. This is the time of year where everyone's doing pumpkin spice this or pumpkin pie that. Don't get me wrong, those are great recipes. I like some pumpkin pie every now and then. To me, that's a little oversaturated. I'm not gonna give you a pumpkin pie recipe. I'm not gonna give you a pumpkin spice, whatever. This is the season for pie. This is the season for apple pie. No other channel is bringing you an apple pie. I just wanna keep eating, give me a sec. I'm having another piece because this is an anabolic apple pie. And the serving and the calories and the macros allow you to eat a crap ton of this pie. Piece number 2. Like I said, it's a bit of a process trying to cook this. It's gonna take a little while. It's gonna be a decent amount of dishes. But guys, Thanksgiving is coming up. Christmas is coming up. You guys don't need to avoid pie. You guys don't need to just eat a little bit of ham and turkey and vegetables and avoid everything else because it's too, no, make this pie. This is easily the best thing I've ever made. I'm that confident. I am that confident that all of you, each and every one of you, unless there's an allergy and you gotta sub something, if you make it the way I showed you throughout this video, you will never forget this. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you're gonna make it every day because it's a process, right? But you guys are gonna think about this at the very least. Where's my phone? I gotta give you guys the calories. Okay, macros, calories for the entire apple pie. You're looking at 1,834 calories. You're looking at 17.5 grams of fat, 364 grams of carbs, 105 grams of protein, and 59 grams of fiber. Less than 2,000 calories for the whole pie, dude. I can eat the entire apple pie and have 700 or 800 calories left on my day. The entire thing, this whole thing, I can eat all day. Oh yeah, there it is, right? I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. I had maybe a third of the apple pie. Maybe this much. I had this much of the pie. I'm stuffed, okay? I was full after a couple bites of the second piece, but I kept eating because it's good, dude. I gotta get this thing out of my sight. Seriously. This isn't even gonna take you like 4 hours to make. It might take you a half hour to put the entire thing together. It took me a lot longer because I had to move the camera around. I had to get these angles. I had to take thumbnail pictures. I had to do a few things. So for me, it took a little longer than it would have, but for you guys, it won't take you long to make. This recipe requires a few more steps. It's not like 5 ingredients you put into a bowl and then put in the oven for 5 minutes. Those are great, they're convenient, and obviously they have all the macros and calories. This is meant to be more special. This is meant for an occasion. This is a very seasonal recipe. and I highly suggest you guys start making it. I wanna see pictures on Instagram. I wanna see you guys tagging me in your pies. I wanna know what you guys think. I'm so excited over this recipe. Like, I'm like fired up right now. I don't know why. Like, I made this pie a few times, but the fact that I'm finally making the video for it and I'm actually gonna be able to show you guys, I'm just excited. I'm proud. It doesn't look like a normal pie in a lot of regards, but it tastes on par, on point. I think it exceeds it. I'm not being biased. I'm not trying to be like, oh, maybe if I say this, they'll make my recipe. No, I'm telling you, this is better than an apple pie to me. It just tastes better. It feels better. Maybe it's because I made it and it has that kind of thing where like, oh, if you cook the food, it tastes a little better to you. Maybe that's it. This is incredible, dude. I think an appropriate serving size for this pie would be 1/4. 1/4 of the entire thing. I feel like that's gonna fill you up. You're gonna be satiated well beyond that point, but you're gonna have plenty of room left in terms of your calories. I'm gonna call that the Ethan serving. If you have the Ethan serving, okay, 1/4 of the pie, you're looking at 458 calories, 4.5 grams of fat, 91 grams of carbs, 26 grams of protein, and 15 grams of fiber. What a time to be alive, dude. I want another piece of that pie, but I'm so full, and I'm not gonna force myself to eat. But I really want another piece of pie. I'm not gonna sit here and gas myself up for another 5-10 minutes of the video. I'm gonna wrap it up right now. For those of you watching, make the recipe. Make it for your family, make it for yourself. This is something you can cut up into pieces and meal prep. You can meal prep this throughout the week. One thing about pie is it tastes really good cold too. For those of you that subscribe to me for a while, I really like cold food. So refrigerated pie tastes just as good as pie fresh out the oven. I don't know why, it's just temperature on both ends of the spectrum tastes great to me. I think that made sense. I want to see you guys' pictures on Instagram. Tag me in it. I'll put you on my story. I'll shout you out. We can have a little conversation. But the point is, guys, I want you to try it. That's my #1 thing, is I want you guys to try this. You will love it. Perfect for the holidays. I know I was a little off the wall today, but that's because I haven't really eaten much today, and I finally made this pie. It took me a lot longer than it should have because I had to get the camera angles and the thumbnail and everything. But when I finally tried it, dude, all the flashing lights and colors started going off in my brain. I felt amazing. It was awesome. I'm done for today. For those of you that listen to my rant, for those of you that made it this far, I really appreciate each and every one of you, okay? The channel is growing. The channel is growing fast. We're at like 323, I think. In the last week and a half, we got over 100 subscribers. I'm a small channel. That's huge. That's huge to me. My birthday is December 3rd, and I'm telling you, I want to get to 500 by then. I think we can do it. I really think we can. Let's try to keep it up. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy the recipe. But if you haven't already, guys, please drop a like down below. Hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell to be notified when I drop more stuff like this. And leave a comment and give a suggestion for a video in the future. Hey, I mean, while you're at it, do you want to share the video, send it to your friends? That'd be awesome too. I'll tell you what, guys, if you cook this up and bring it to your family for dinner, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna be so impressed. They're gonna be like, wow, you cooked that, you made that for us. Dude, if you can cook a pie for a family event, you're the most popular person in the room. No doubt about it. The pie makes the entire meal. Breakfast, lunch, not breakfast, lunch and dinner, dessert. All right, I'm done for today. I talked enough. Make sure you tune in next time. Take care of yourselves. Peace.